War isn't just about fighting the enemy, it's a battle against exhaustion. For World War II soldiers, sleep was a rare luxury. Imagine you're in a muddy trench, rain pouring, artillery thundering non-stop. Every nerve is on edge, and true rest is impossible. Soldiers survived on stolen moments of sleep, snatching rest wherever they could. The constant threat meant a single lapse could be fatal. Sleep deprivation blurred reality. Hallucinations, confusion, and mistakes were common. The psychological toll was immense. Exhaustion became a deadly enemy. Yet soldiers adapted, pushing their bodies and minds to the limit. They learned to rest in short bursts, always half awake, always ready. This wasn't just tiredness, it was survival. The war against sleep was as real as the war against the enemy. Soldiers found ways to create small pockets of safety, brief escapes from chaos. These weren't just sleep hacks. They were hard-won survival techniques. The human spirit's resilience was tested daily. In the trenches, endurance and ingenuity became the difference between life and death. This is the story of how they fought back against exhaustion, a raw lesson in resilience. Life in the trenches was misery-defined. Soldiers lived in hastily dug ditches, surrounded by mud that soaked everything: clothes, food, even shelter. Rain and groundwater filled the trenches, sometimes waist-deep. Comfort didn't exist. Every step was a struggle. The trenches were cramped, packed with men and crawling with rats and lice. Hygiene was impossible, and disease spread quickly. The constant noise, artillery, gunfire, screams, kept everyone on edge. The sky pressed down, grey and oppressive. Soldiers felt trapped, their minds and bodies battered by the environment. Sleep was dangerous. Deep rest could mean never waking up. Enemy patrols, sudden barrages, and the cold were constant threats. Soldiers learned to doze lightly, always ready to wake. The fight for sleep was a fight for sanity. Every moment was a test of endurance. The trenches pushed men to their breaking point. Survival meant adapting to a world where rest was never safe. On the front lines, shelter was improvised. Official shelters were rare or destroyed, so soldiers dug their own, cramped dugouts in trench walls. These spaces offered little comfort, but some protection from rain and shrapnel. Captured buildings, farmhouses, churches, cellars became temporary havens, but were always targets. The foxhole was a soldier's last defense, dug by hand, covered with a poncho or tent half. Alone in a foxhole, a soldier could try to sleep, but tension never left. True sleep was rare. Catnaps became a survival skill. Soldiers learned to sleep anywhere, leaning against a wall, sitting in a truck, curled at a tree's base. Micro-sleeps of 5 or 10 minutes kept them going. These brief rests weren't refreshing, but they staved off collapse. Adaptability was key. Rest had to be grabbed whenever possible. Every moment of sleep was a victory. Survival depended on mastering the art of the catnap. Soldiers became innovators out of necessity. Standard gear, like sleeping bags, was often abandoned, too slow to escape from in an emergency. Instead, soldiers used sleeping bags as blankets, or relied on ponchos and wool blankets for warmth and quick mobility. Every item had multiple uses: helmets for washing, entrenching tools for digging or defense. Adaptation was constant, trial and error on the front lines. Every decision balanced rest and readiness. Was comfort worth the risk? Soldiers weighed every choice, knowing a mistake could be fatal. Ingenuity wasn't taught. It was learned in the chaos of war. Survival meant being smart, adaptable, and always alert. Innovation was about staying alive, not just staying comfortable. The smartest adaptations often made the difference between life and death. No one survived alone on the front lines. The buddy system was sacred. You watch my back, I'll watch yours. While one soldier slept, the other stood guard. Absolute trust was essential. This bond was stronger than friendship, forged in fear and dependence. Rotations were short, an hour or two at most, just enough for a brief escape from tension. Knowing someone was watching allowed for real, if fleeting, rest. The buddy system fought isolation, reminding soldiers they weren't alone. Quiet conversations, shared cigarettes, and simple nods became lifelines. Teamwork was the ultimate survival tool. Trust was the currency of life and death. In war, your greatest strength was the person beside you. Together, they endured what no one could face alone. The World War II soldiers' experience reveals the limits of human endurance. Survival demanded adaptation, innovation, and teamwork. The strongest weren't always the ones who made it. It was those who adapted fastest. Trust and the buddy system held units together under pressure. Teamwork magnified individual strength. Rest wasn't a luxury. It was essential for survival. Exhaustion led to mistakes and loss. The desperate fight for sleep was about staying alive, not comfort. The lessons of endurance, adaptation, trust, and the need for rest are timeless. In the fire of war, these truths were forged, and they endure.